All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome on to this week's training call. We have a couple big guest speakers today. We have Moon and Lisa on. And for any of those of you who might be watching this video because you didn't hop on live, this is obviously is being recorded. We will post this for anyone who wants to watch later on as well. But this is a great call for you guys to fully understand how to do any of your commissions reconciliations with the new changes with Boost. So with that said, I'm going to hand it over to Moon and Lisa to give you guys everything you need to know in order to make sure you are paid correctly each and every time. All right, take it away.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Can everybody hear me okay?
We've
Loud and
got you.
clear.
Fantastic. Good morning, everybody. For those that don't know who I am, my name is Moon Samra. I handle all new account transaction setups as well as ePay setups for everyone. I'd like to welcome everyone to the reconciliation and escalation training this morning. So we do have a lot to go through in such short time. So I am going to go through this as detailed as I can, but as well as quickly as I can. We will definitely have questions and all answers after my presentation as well as Lisa's presentation, so we don't lose or go off track in any way.
Yep, and just to
So,
comment on that, we are going to hold on all questions till the end of Moon's presentation, then the end of Lisa's presentations. But if you are online, you want to put them in the chat box. So when it is that question time, we'll go ahead and pull those up for you. I'll be monitoring that chat box and asking any questions you guys may have.
all right, can everybody see my screen?
We got it.
Fantastic. All right, so this is my reconciliation and escalation training PowerPoint. So what we're going to be going through, what I'm going to be going through, excuse me, is the current to process to new process and timeline for escalations. I'm also going to go through escalations of how to submit and check the status of your escalations. I am also going to run through the missing transaction, which is submitting and checking the status of your missing transactions. Lisa will be going through the reconciling dealer commissions using Boost Elevate. So right now, as everyone knows, the current appeal process, it's steps 1, steps 2, and steps 3. Step 1 obviously starts off with you guys as a retailer submitting appeals for commissions that are not paid off. After that, if it does show that it was denied, the escalation flow is you guys would send those denials to your DDP, which is DCI. And after that, it would go from DCI to Boost. From there, you guys would lose communication and wait on our response that we would get from Boost. The timeline can be anywhere between the time that you submit the appeal, day 1, to up to 90 days to where you guys are in the blank with the old process. Well, now going on with the new process, the new escalation flow, which is great, that our guy Trevor at Boost worked on and created, you guys will actually now have full access to see everything. You guys can go ahead and submit your own escalations. When you do submit an escalation, it is processed through the DDP, and then we forward that to Boost. But you guys do have the ability, which I'll walk you through, to how you can track your escalations now, so you will no longer be in the wind. The reconciliation tool is provided, of course. However, the tool may or may not fully address all discrepancies, which we will go through. So the escalations, how to submit an escalation. The good thing that I like about this new escalation program that they have, as you can see, I have a little cheat sheet here that the old escalation window, as an example, whenever you guys do an activation on June 1st, I'm sure all of you guys remember that on an activation on June 1st, you would have to allow at least 15 days to confirm if commissions were paid. So you'd have to wait until June 16 to check. And then you'd have a window of 35 days, which is up to 50 days from the activation date, to process your appeals, which you have until July 21st. Well, with Boost's new program, with this new reconciliation format, the positivity you have here is that, as an example, if you have an activation on June 1st, 15 days you have to wait is until at least June 16 to confirm that you were not paid. And now you're allowed up to 90 days total to confirm and submit appeal. So an example, if you had an activation that you done on June 1st, and you see you haven't gotten paid, you have until the end of the day tomorrow, August 30th, where you have the ability of submitting the appeals. And then another thing that we're going to go through, if escalation options is not available, which I'm going to walk you through, as you can see the picture to the right, you reach out to your DDP on that. Another thing that I'm going to go through is how to check the status of an escalation. Again, you guys will have with this new escalation program, how to check the status of an escalation with a window of 21 days from that date. So what I'm going to show you guys here is to how to submit an escalation. So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and log into your POS system. While you're logged into your POS system, you're going to click right here where it says reports. When you click on reports, it's going to open up this window here. Once it opens up this window, you're going to go ahead and hover over dish activations, and you're going to click on dish payment status report. When you click on that, it's going to open up this window here. It's going to ask you to enter as much as information as you possibly can, depending on, I know most of you normally run on a individual IMEI that you are not paid for. It is recommended with this new system is to run it on a weekly or a monthly basis, just to check all your crossing your T's and dotting your I's, as a lot of people say, just to confirm everything. So as an example, I'm going to go here. Now this is my back office. The only difference is mine says dish instead of dish activations because it's a large amount of tabs that I have here. So you go dish payment status report. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to run the 1 month, which is July 1st. Always start off with the first of the month to the end of the month. I would recommend leaving everything as all so it can run you a full report. Then you're going to click on run report. When you click on that, it's going to open up your entire 30 days of transactions that you've done tracked by Boost. Okay, this one's running a little bit longer. So I'm going to go here and just go to a screenshot, what it would look like when you do run the report. It would look just like this when you do run the report. It would show you a full list of activations you've done for the month of July. So what we're going to look for is to locate the records that show discrepancies in either the reimbursement status or commission status fields. So you're going to be watching this column here, which is the reimbursement status and the commission status. All right, so it looks like the report did finally go through. So what we do is you're going to drag this toolbar all the way to the far right. And then you're going to filter. So the filtering is your reimbursement status and your commission status. So as an example, if you just click on this reimbursement bar once, it puts it in ascending order. Now you want to check to see the discrepancy here. As an example, for this IMEI says eligible reimbursement was $402 and was only paid $2.50. That's the discrepancy. So what you're going to do is you're going to escalate this yourself instead of submitting it to the DDP. So you're going to click on this caret to the left. It's going to give you a drop down, and you're going to click on view details. With the view detail, it's going to open up two separate statuses. One is your payments, letting you know what was paid and what the discrepancy is. So this one shows two discrepancies for this IMEI. And what we're looking for was the one that we saw was the $400. So what you do with that one, you're going to the right and see the detail of the reason why it was not paid. And you're going to click on this caret to the left. Right now, this one shows escalate update history. So this is not a good example, unfortunately. But what the example would show is it would give you an escalate option. What you would do is you click on escalate. And once you click on escalate, it's going to ask you to enter your comments, just like when you're submitting an appeal. But instead of you typing in every single detail, you're going to just type in the comments of your escalation. Once you do that, you click OK. You will receive one of two messages. Either you are going to receive a confirmation message, the submission you visible in the dish escalation report. This will be sent to your DDP, which is us. Once you submit it, we will confirm the escalation and push through Boost escalation team. If the second option shows up where you will receive an error message, most of the time the error message is because you probably submitted your appeal before the 15-day window of the activation. So it is very important. That rule still applies with Boost, that you do have to wait at least 15 days from the activation date to submit any sort of escalations or appeals. Now, there may be times and there may be history where when you do submit to try to submit an escalation, or when you do click on that left arrow key and click view details, that is a possibility when you try to do a discrepancy to escalate a discrepancy that it will not show anything. At this moment, Boost is working on this to have this repaired, but if it does, if the escalation option is not available, please process the appeal through the legacy appeal portal if this is still an option or available. So right now, as we speak, it is still available. So you are able to. So if you are not able to run the appeal through this new reconciliation portal, then you would submit it through the legacy portal as you did before. Submit the appeal. If it's denied, then you reach out to your DDP, letting them know that it's been denied, and we would escalate that from there. Moving on to that. All right. The other step that I want to go through with you guys is how to check the status of an escalation. As I noted it in my PowerPoint at the time before, the old process is you do not have the ability of checking the status of escalation unless you reach out to your DDP. But with this new reconciliation format, you now have the ability of tracking your escalations. To do that, it'll be the same process that you went through. You would hover over your dish activation tab and you would go to dish payment status report. I'm sorry, you would click on, here we go. You would click on your dish activation. You go to dish payment status report. And now here, instead of you checking, you're going to click on this tab here. It says dish missing. I apologize again, folks. Here we are. I do apologize. Here we go. So you go to dish escalation status report. You click on this dish escalation status report. This is where you would enter if you have a specific IMEI that you're looking for, or if you want to just check a multitude of reports that you submitted. If you want to check a multitude of reports, as an example for what you submitted in July, so you're going to put in again start date of July 1st till today's date that you're running the process for. And then you will click on run report. Right now, obviously, this one shows there's been no escalation submitted. But when you do that, when you do submit that information, you would get something like this. You click the carrots, it would show you your history of escalations that you've submitted. It would give you the person that submitted it. Scroll down a little bit more. It would give you the status of your escalation. Either it's still pending with Boost, or it's pending from your DDP, or it has been denied on that. If you did notice that you did get denied, if an escalation is denied and the dealer wishes to re-escalate, please submit your re-escalation request to your DDP with supporting documents, elevate receipt, or any other applicable documents within 21 days of the denial date. It is highly recommended that you guys check your escalation report at least once a week because the window is smaller from the denial date, which is 21 days from that. Okay, the other topic that we're going to go through is your missing transactions. How to submit a missing transactions. If you guys all remember, it was more like a portal issue request. This missing transaction report is very, very similar to what you guys were doing before. Most likely, if it doesn't show up in your portal, that most you guys probably reached out to Boost Care to do, whether it's an upgrade, to complete an upgrade, or to complete a port. When you guys do that, unfortunately, that IMEI is pulled out of your portal and put into the Boost portal, which you guys have all remembered. Then you guys have to submit an appeal, and it will do a portal issue request. The timeline is still the same. You would have to wait 15 days from the activation date. So if you guys call Boost on August 1st and you wanted to go in and put it on August 2nd to do a missing transaction, it would not accept it. You would have to wait 15 days. I'm also going to walk you through how to check the status of the submitted missing transaction report. So again, we're going to be logged into your POS system. You're going to go to Dish Activations, and you're going to go to Dish Payment Status Report. And then right here, this is where you would see the tabs you have is Run Report, Download Report, or Dish Missing Transaction Submission. So you'd click on this Dish Missing Transaction Submission. And it's a very short window. You would put in the transaction date, which is the date of the activation. You would choose whether it's an activation or an upgrade. Activation means whether it's a new or port-in or an upgrade. You would put in the IMEI, and you would put in the phone number. And then you would put in the comment. You put in the comment. You try to be as detailed as you can, but as short as possible. Port was done through Care as an example. And then you would click on OK. When you do click on OK, it would give you this message here. You will receive a confirmation message. This message goes straight to Boost. This will not go to your DDP. This is a direct line that goes straight to Boost. Again, if you do try this less than 15 days of the activation, it will be denied. It's still recommended to wait 15 days after the activation to submit the missing transaction report. Now, the other thing that we're going to go through is how to check the status of a missing transaction. So again, long as you're still logged into your POS, you're going to click on Dish Activation. You're going to hover your mouse over Dish Activation, and you're going to go scroll down to Dish Missing Transaction Reports. When you hover your mouse over that, you're going to click on that, and it's going to ask you again the same thing. The status, you can put in the IMEI, or you can put in the start date to end date of when you submitted it, and it's going to show you all of your submissions for missing transaction reports. It's going to tell you the status of it, still pending review, or it's been approved and has been uploaded into your system. Okay. This concludes my section of the escalation and missing transaction report. I am now going to pass this on over to Lisa Nan. Lisa?
Okay, I will show you how we conceal dealer commission using Boost Allgate.
Lisa,
So first
real
we-
quick,
Yeah.
before we get started, we did have one question for Moon on that. And Moon, the question was basically when dealers hit the escalate button, does that escalate the appeal come right to us at DCI versus sending it to Boost or doing it manual?
Hello, yeah, so when you click on the escalation, the escalations come to us first. So what we do is we confirm the escalation, we check the IMEI with the activation timeline, we check to confirm the missing, and then we forward that to Boost. But everything is trackable through the escalation tracking field. The only thing that
Perfect.
goes the only thing that goes directly to Boost is when you submit a missing transaction report. That goes directly to Boost.
All right. Thanks. And for those of you that hopped on after the call started, if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the meeting chat or we will answer them towards the end of the call. Thank you so much. Take it away,
Okay,
Lisa.
so first we will need to generate database from Boost Mobile Elevate because the escalation tool might not include all the data whereas the Elevate will catch discounts that were made in the system. So we would utilize the sales transaction detail report. In order to do that, we will need to filter the report for the transaction and the department type so that we could look for device reimbursement. After that, we need to convert the IMEI to DCI format. It's important that we do that because we would use DCI as a payment record. If you need the DCI converter tool, you could go to DCIorders.com and find the dealer resources. It will be called the ESN converter tool. Now to show you how to get to the Elevate report. First, we will need to go to Elevate and search up sales transaction. And it will show up 3 categories and we will have to click on the sales transaction detail. Then you will need to go to report date and press custom and then find the period that you're trying to reconcile. So for example, I'll start from June 1st to June 30th. Then we have to go to the report field and make sure that the department is checked and the transaction type is checked. After that, we could export the file. So this is an example, but if you were to export the file, it will look like this. The most important columns that we will need to look for is the transaction type, the department type, the serial number 1, and the discount. Then if you were to put it all together, it will look like this. We would need to make a column for the DCI converter and then convert it. Then after that, we should add 2 additional columns, the VLOOKUP and the difference. First, for the transaction type, we will need to filter it where it will only show sales because we don't need any exchange or return. Then we will go to the department type and make sure that it says Android, iPhone, or any tablet because we're looking for device reimbursement. Then now we have to generate database from ePay to utilize the commission payment detail report because it will show all the payment that was paid for each ESN. We will need to go to the commission payment detail, and then we have to search for the reconciliation date, which is, for example, the one from June 1st all the way to June 30th. Then we will make sure that it doesn't say that it will count any $0 payment. After that, we have to export the data. And then after, when we export the data, it will show up like this. We will need the payment type column and ESN and amount column. Well, first, we will need to filter all of the payment to make sure that it's anything that's only for related to reconciliation. For example, in this case, it's the upgrade, the new act, and the add line. This is where the pivot table will come handy because it will help sum up the amount that was paid for each ESN to discover any discrepancy. So first, to create a pivot table, we will need to press Insert, Pivot Table, press OK. Then we will need to put the ESN in the rows and the amount in the values to see the total sum of each of the ESN that was paid. Finally, once the pivot table is created, we could finally reconcile between the two data. We will need to utilize the VLOOKUP formula tool from Elevate transaction report to the ePay commission payment details. It is important to use the VLOOKUP because it will help with determining the total reimbursement. It will help with finding any missing payment or discrepancy that are needed to submit for escalation. So to show you how to do that, first I will go back to the file that I was using for the sales transaction report. I will click on the VLOOKUP column and I'll use the function formula where I click this one, and then you look for VLOOKUP, and then after you look for VLOOKUP, press OK. Then for the lookup value, we're trying to find the DCI serial number, right? So we press G2. Then for the table array, we would use the pivot table that we created and select the column and drag it. And then for the column index number, since we're trying to look for the sum of amount, it will be 1, 2, so we press 2. Then for the range lookup, we will put false because we're trying to see if payments were paid or not. If it doesn't get paid, it will show up as NA. Then we press OK, and we get the amount. Then we would need to copy and paste all of the amount here. And then we need to find the difference between both of them to see if there was any discrepancy. Then right here, we notice that $14.99 is missing. So what we could do is go back to the pivot table and check what was missing. To do that, we could also add another payment type to the column to see which one was missing. We noticed that for that ESN, that only the new act was paid, which is $120, which was shown right here. Then we will need to go back to check the Elevate Boost invoice to see which one was missing, and then we found out that it was missing an add line for $14.99. So this indicates that we would need to submit an escalation for that. So if you need any more help with the pivot table or the VLOOKUP, I would suggest watching a video tutorial made from Excel or Google, or you could check on our deck for further details. Thank you.
All right, guys. With that, we will open up. Are there any questions at this time? No questions on the VLOOKUP. I know that was new for a lot of you guys out there. And this call is being recorded. It's going to be on our DCI website. So if you do have questions, you can go back and watch the segment on the VLOOKUP tool and get the expertise you guys need. All right. I don't have any questions in the chat box. Anything else, Moon and Lisa?
You just wanted to let everybody know that obviously my line is still open to any questions or concerns you guys have as far as submitting appeals or running through this again. So you guys can always either email me or just call me directly, and I can definitely walk you through everything step by step again.
Awesome. We'll give it one last second. You guys might be on mute. If you need to unmute, you can unmute your line. You might have to hit *6 possibly as well if you're on your phone. We'll give it one more second if there are any questions about anything we just covered.
Also, to give you a big hug.
Well, I think Chris got a big hug. Great
Chris
job,
and not
guys.
get a big hug at him.
Thank you guys so much for hopping on. We'll have this video posted. We really appreciate your time. Let's get out there and go get them. Thank you guys.
Thanks, everybody.